Hello there, Virgo. Thank you for stopping by for this week's tarot forecast for June 22nd through the 28th. I am using my Wildwood Tarot today. Somebody recently asked me why I always use the same tarot deck, and it made me start thinking, wouldn't it be interesting if I started shaking it up a little bit once in a while, so why not? So today we've got the Wildwood Tarot, and let's just get started. Monday, Virgos. You have the Guardian showing up. Now the Guardian looks pretty intimidating. Nobody freak out until I tell you what he means, okay? Then you don't have to freak out. All right, so the Guardian really talks about us coming into contact with our fears and really looking at them dead on and just facing them and just walking through anyway. And so Monday, that's what's going to be going on. There's going to be something comes up that is like, it's one of those things that you just fear and you just always have thought, oh, what would I do if this happened? Well, guess what? Now it's happening, and you know what most of you are finding out is that it really wasn't anything to be scared of to start with. There are solutions to everything, and you find those solutions and you walk through them. The other beautiful thing that I love about this card, if you look at the bottom in between the skeleton's legs, do you see that pathway? There's a very definite pathway back behind this guy. And so what happens is once we face those fears that the Guardian talks about, then we're able to walk our path much more easily and productively and happily. So while facing the fears is never comfortable, once we get through to the other side, totally worth it. Okay? So that's what I see going on Monday, facing some fears, putting yourself in a better position to be able to walk your path more efficiently, more happily. So Virgo, here is Tuesday. Tuesday we have a decision to make. This is what's showing up for you Virgos. Very emotional decision for you. I feel like this is a decision that you have the support of your friends on. They will support you no matter what you decide here. So that's always really a nice thing. And I feel like this is a decision for most of you Virgos. This has to do with how to be more productive in your life, how to produce more. So to me, this really has a lot of financial feel to it. So for a lot of you, this is going to be, how do I generate more income? And you're making a decision on Tuesday about that. But it's not financial for everybody. It is a lot about security, but security can come in many different ways. So this could be about relationships as well, or a particular relationship, but there's a decision here about what direction that you want to take moving forward that comes into play on Tuesday. Now on Wednesday we have a really interesting card here. This is the Ancestor. The Ancestor talks about being called into something that is an ancient ritual or tradition. The Ancestor really talks about, like, where normally this would be the Hierophant card in a different deck. The Ancestor, to me, when I look at this deck, the Ancestor to me is talking about things even more ancient than the Hierophant card. The Hierophant card typically shows the Pope. Okay, this is showing something like a more indigenous type thing where you've got the indigenous drum, you've got different furs on this woman, everything is very natural, it's very primitive. To me, this really talks about being called into those old ancient ways of worshiping that were around before the church came into play. So you know, it's not like when the church came along, people started worshiping, or people started worshiping God. People were worshiping God way before the church came into play, but they had less specific information about who God was or what he was. And so what they based their worship on was their experience of God. And so this, to me, the Ancestor card really talks about being called back into those ancient ways of worship, into that ancient appreciation for nature as she is around us and how she supports us, and for the creative energy that came up with everything that we live in. So I'm feeling like Wednesday, you really are feeling this call. You're feeling drawn to explore more, drawn to express more of that ancient type worship. that worship that goes back to the very primitive ways of worshiping God. Okay, so that's what I'm seeing for Wednesday. For some of you, you may even be going to a drumming circle. What would that day be? No, it's not a full moon or a new moon. But for some of you, I am feeling like you may be going to a drumming circle, or perhaps a gong bath, or maybe you're doing an outdoor type worshiping of God. So there's something going on Wednesday, very ancient, drawing you back to the very ancient. Okay, so Thursday we have the Five of Arrows, Virgo. Five of Arrows just talks to me about that there's a situation in which everybody is supposed to be working together towards the same target or the same goal, but what's really going on is everyone is kind of stuck in the mud because everyone seems to have a different agenda about reaching that target or goal, which keeps the project from moving forward. It's just holding it suspended. So that's what's going on Thursday. If you can find a way to convince enough people to go about getting to the target or goal in the same fashion, then you may be able to end this frustration and actually accomplish the goal of the day on Thursday. Now Friday, we have the Queen of Arrows in reverse, Virgo. Queen of Arrows in reverse just tells me that there's been a situation in your life, Virgo, that has made you feel more vulnerable than what you are comfortable with. Okay? And so on Friday, did I say Queen of Arrows is Thursday? That was the Five of Arrows was Thursday. Queen of Arrows is Friday. So on Friday, because of this situation that made you feel more vulnerable than you're comfortable with, what's happening is you are taking some precautions to make yourself less vulnerable. And I've seen this card manifest in ways that have to do with relationships with other people. Like if you feel like somebody took advantage of you, then you put some things into place, some boundaries into place that don't allow that type of taking advantage of again. I've also seen it in business too, where people set boundaries there as well. Maybe if you're a business owner, you might change your refund policy or things along this line. This is something to just make you feel a little bit more secure because you feel like you have been taken advantage of and you just don't want to repeat that experience. So that's what I see coming in on Friday. On Saturday, what we have is we have the hooded man showing up. Now this just means Saturday you've got some introspective time coming up, Virgo. So you're going to have some quiet time, some time where you can actually think about yourself and what makes you tick, what makes you happy, what makes you sad, why. Why do those things make you happy or make you sad? It's a time of really getting the chance to know and understand yourself. I like to call this the pre-reading card, because what happens when we have this type of time and we start to understand ourselves better with it, is that as we start interacting with other people afterwards, we start to realize that they have a lot of similar patterns to what we do. And so we start to understand what's going on with them, maybe even before they're actually verbally communicating those things with us. And so it's interesting to me because when you have this kind of knowledge, people think of you as reading them. They don't understand how you know the things that you know about them ahead of time, and it's because you know your patterns, and you just see a carbon copy going on with them. So that's why I call it pre-reading. You're not really reading, you're actually just following patterns. You're using your logic, but other people don't know that you're using logic to find out this information, so it's kind of fun. So that's why I call it the pre-reading card. Now on Sunday, what we have coming up is we have the Nine of Vessels in reverse. Yeah, showing it the right way. So Nine of Vessels in reverse is talking to me about energy blockages. When I see this card come up right side up, it talks about free-flowing energy, people sharing resources, people sharing information, free-flowing energy, going back and forth. When it comes up like this on Sunday, when it's reversed, that energy is blocked off. There's something clogging the flow. It may be a little bit of a disagreement, it could be an argument, it could be some hurt feelings. You know, there could be something a little bit old that's clogging the flow. But you just want to be aware as you're going through your day on Sunday about how things feel to you, because feelings are a real tip-off about how the energy is flowing around us. And if things aren't feeling right, then it's important to take that time to stop and sort of adjust so that things do feel right, because that's how we stay on the most ideal path for ourselves. So anyway, that is your week, Virgo. For those of you who would like to schedule a private session with me, please check out my website, see which service actually fits you best. I'm at amista.info, amista.info. Once you've nosed around my website a little bit, if you still feel like I am the best reader for you, go ahead and contact me and we'll get you taken care of as quickly as we can. And I will see everybody here next week. Everyone have a great week. Peace out.